You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White sports fans, we're going to continue to talk about the fallout of Jon Gruden resigning from the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, we all know what he said about Demaurice Smith, the chief of the NFL Players Association. And Demaurice Smith has basically come out and slammed Jon Gruden as a racist. However, the floodgates are starting to open on this thing as we're finding out more people across the league and in the sports media were sending different emails, different messages. It's coming out, and some people are getting some flack for this, okay? But Demaurice Smith now, I believe, wants to open up the floodgates. And it seems like, it's kind of tied to critical race theory. If you actually listen to what Demaurice Smith actually had to say, and also based on what we know about critical race theory being taught in schools, Demaurice Smith is definitely race baiting now, this whole entire thing. I believe he's seeing systemic racism everywhere. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this, guys. Jon Gruden emails. Demaurice Smith wonders whether racial bias is included in messages. This is a playbook straight out of critical race theory, where you see everything through a racial lens. NFLPA boss said he's interested in whether teams were making hiring decisions based on race. Interesting. Let's read this. Demaurice Smith, the executive director of the NFL Players Association, is curious about what else is in the treasure trove of emails that were gathered as part of the league's investigation into the Washington football team. Smith said Wednesday during an appearance on ESPN's The Right Time with Bomani Jones podcast, he wonders whether there could be evidence that hiring decisions were based on a candidate's skin color. He says this, quote, "What I'm interested in is there correspondence that suggests teams were making decisions about coaches based on the color of their skin. Are they actively hostile to players that have chosen to self-identify in various ways? Are they denigrating of people based on sexual preference or religious identity?" he said. Okay, that is a lot to take in right there. So when NFL teams are looking for a head coach, what is the process they need to go through? They have this thing called the Rooney Rule. And Demaurice Smith asks, are teams making decisions about coaches based on the color of their skin? Well, guess what, folks? The Rooney Rule dictates that you must interview somebody based on the color of their skin. Teams have to do this no matter what. So even if the owner has the person in mind that he wants to hire for the job, he has to interview, let's say, a black coach just for the sake of fulfilling the Rooney Rule, because you must interview somebody based on skin color. I do not like this. Why does the Rooney Rule not work? It's because when skin color and race is the driving point of any type of rule, it never works. Now, Jerry Jones, after he fired Jason Garrett, he hired Mike McCarthy to coach the Dallas Cowboys, and Mike McCarthy is the coach of the Cowboys right now. He also had to interview a minority coach. He interviewed Marvin Lewis, who is black. Now, as soon as I found out that he was interviewing Marvin Lewis and Mike McCarthy, I was like, there's no way in hell Jerry Jones is going to hire Marvin Lewis. Why? Because his credentials are not very good if you're trying to build a championship team. Now, Marvin Lewis was in Cincinnati forever. How many playoff games did he win? He won exactly 0. I'm not saying that Marvin Lewis isn't a good coach, but all those years in Cincinnati, he achieved nothing. No playoff wins. Mike McCarthy, he won a Super Bowl. He's won playoff games in the playoffs. He's made deep runs. his resume is much better than Marvin Lewis. And of course, we know Mike McCarthy is white. Marvin Lewis is black. So Jerry Jones hired Mike McCarthy because the man was a better coach. He had a better resume. It had nothing to do with skin color. And I'm just using that as an example here because Demaurice Smith wants to know if teams are hiring coaches based off skin color. I believe the Rooney Rule needs to go. It needs to go. It does not work. It doesn't work, folks. It says Smith's comments came after Jon Gruden resigned as Las Vegas Raiders coach, following more leaks of his correspondence with former Washington President Bruce Allen and other high-profile individuals. An email Gruden sent to Allen used a racist trope to describe Smith was revealed on Friday. Smith said on the podcast he hopes the league and the players' unions' words will match their actions when it came to his social justice efforts. Quote, "It would be good for our game and for our business for both the league and the union to decide that we are going to turn a corner. And we talked about diversity. We talked about inclusiveness for years. How do we turn the corner and actually match our actions to our words? And when will we start to hold people accountable for living up to a standard that we believe is acceptable standard for just human interaction?" Smith said. Now, here's the problem. When you look at everything through a racial lens, you will get nothing accomplished. I have no problem with diversity. I have no problem with inclusiveness. But the thing is, it has to be organic. You cannot push that to the forefront. You know what, guys? This is just an example here. No, we need a coach. Why don't we go ahead and let's make an effort just to go out there and get a black coach. Forget about the qualifications. You see, this is the problem also with Joe Biden when he said he was going to choose his running mate and the running mate was going to be a woman. He made it strictly about identity politics. And this seems to be the same case with Demaurice Smith here. Let's just be real about it. And Joe Biden, that's a whole nother story, but I digress. So Gruden resigned Monday after more homophobic and misogynistic emails were released to the New York Times. Smith told USA Today the union plans to file a petition to get the rest of the 650,000 emails involved in the probe release. Quote, "We have had communications with the league and the NFLPA plans to request the NFL to release the rest of the emails," Smith said. And I did a video on that and the NFL said no. No. Now, I truly do believe that Jon Gruden is the fall guy for this because I believe that the NFL wanted this out there. They want this racial stuff out there. And the woke mob, they love this. The woke mob definitely loves this. They want everything to be about race. This is the problem, with your critical race theorists out there. And Demaurice Smith is just taking this right out of the playbook. He believes, or he wants to find out if all teams are pretty much making decisions based on race. This is not good for the NFL whatsoever. And I truly believe that NFL teams on a large scale are not making hiring decisions based off race. For one thing, think of this. The league is about 80% black when it comes to players. And each team has 53 men on the roster. There's 32 teams in the NFL. But however, when it comes to coaches, there's only even less than that when it comes to compared to the players. 30 NFL teams, and you're only going to have 30 coaches. And you're only going to have probably 5, 6, 7 openings total each season. Yeah, so it's going to be even less. So I don't believe that race is playing a role in hiring decisions, but Demaurice Smith wants that out there. He is seeing everything through a racial lens, and this is not good for sports. It's just not. Get race out of sports. Race should not come into play. Qualifications is all that matters to me. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.